Good afternoon, my YouTube viewers. It's Palestine here. Welcome to my channel. I've got lots of things that I can talk about, lots of things that I would like to talk about, but I often think, well, what should I talk about first? Because I've got so much to talk about, especially with regard to me being harassed out of my job at Foster Wheeler. So that's a really difficult subject for me to talk about because a lot of things happened, and that's why I want to talk about it. And so I phoned my sister today to talk to her because I phone her every Saturday, and I talked to her about something that I'm not allowed to talk about on YouTube. And she said, oh, well, I'm sure you put it on YouTube. Well, no, I didn't put it on YouTube. If I'm told that I'm not allowed to talk about something, I definitely won't put it on YouTube. So basically, I only put on YouTube things that I'm allowed to talk about, things that have happened to me. But if I'm been told something in confidence and I've been told I can't discuss it, then I don't discuss it, certainly not on YouTube. So it's not true. But my sister, she just seems to think that I put everything on YouTube, and I don't put everything on YouTube. Some things that I can't put on YouTube, I would like to put everything on YouTube because I would like for my life to be chronicled on YouTube, because obviously I've had a very tragic life and I've gone through a lot of very tragic experiences, and I would like to annotate that so maybe social scientists can look at my videos and see this awful life I've had and derive something out of it, maybe do a case study or something like that. So I don't talk about everything. Some things are private, some things that I would like to talk about, but because my friends watch my videos and my friends don't know all the things that have happened to me, I can't talk about it because they don't know all the things that have happened to me, and I don't want them to know. So I don't put everything on YouTube. But the thing that I'm going to talk about today, because I was thinking, well, what should I talk about? There's so much to talk about. What should I talk about? When I was in the military, I was in the United States Air Force, and I was in wideband maintenance, and I was a telecommunications technician. I had to make a lot of sacrifices while I was in the Air Force, and some of the things I had to do, I didn't want to do. Some of the things were out of my control. And so I met my ex-husband, and I wanted to go to England, and so I got out of the military. And my ex-husband is another really nasty subject to talk about, because although I didn't know about it, he was living a secret life. But I found out the secret life that he was living. But this video is not about him. It's just to give you a little bit of background so you will know how I wound up in the UK. And so when I got out of the military, I had my military ID card, and they never asked me to return my military ID card, so I never gave it back. So I kept that military ID card in my wallet, and I had it in my wallet for 25 years. And that military ID card had sentimental value. I mean, that military ID card didn't mean anything to anybody except me. And so fast forward 25 years, when I had been harassed out of my job at Foster Wheeler, and I was going to another church. I had stopped going to the Christian Science Church because they didn't support me when I was harassed out of my job, and I felt that they were behaving strangely, and possibly they had something to do. They were collaborating with Foster Wheeler. I don't know for sure if they were collaborating, but that's just how I felt. And so I decided that I didn't want to go to the church anymore. And then so I had been sectioned, because I wrote a letter to David Cameron, and David Cameron was in it, with Samira Brito. And David Cameron had given Samira Brito this business ambassador title, where Samira Brito was supposed to be promoting British excellence. And so, I didn't know that. I didn't know that David Cameron was friendly with Samira Brito. Samira Brito was the CEO of AMEC, and AMEC was buying Foster Wheeler. So Foster Wheeler became AMEC Foster Wheeler. So I didn't know any of that. I knew that AMEC was buying Foster Wheeler, but I didn't know that Samira Brito was pally with David Cameron, and that David Cameron had given Samira Brito this Business Ambassador Award. And he was the Business Ambassador Award until that program wound down, was discontinued. And I think it may have been 2016 or 2018 when that program was discontinued. But now, as far as I know, they don't have a Business Ambassador Award anymore. As far as I know, I could be mistaken, because I certainly am not keeping up with business ambassadors. But anyway, so David Cameron had a vested interest in me keeping my mouth shut. So David Cameron got me sectioned. And then when I had got sectioned, I'd lost all my credibility. But, and then so I started going to this United Reformed Church not far from where I live. It was a 10-minute walk or something like that. Not very far away. But that was a bit odd. That was a bit odd. They asked me, did I want to serve tea and coffee? And I said, well, I serve tea and coffee. But the people didn't necessarily talk to me that much. And quite often, I think that because I stopped drinking tea and coffee and I was just drinking water. So for a while, I was just going to the service and then leaving right after the service. But I met some people there who were really odd, or to me they were odd. I'm sure I was odd to them. It was a middle-class church because most of the people were retired. Most of the people dressed well. And there was one lady, I don't even remember her name, not that I could say it on YouTube, but she was really tall. She was definitely over 6 foot. She was tall and skinny, and she was a diabetic. She was type 1 diabetic. And then her husband was maybe a little bit shorter than her, or the same height. I don't even remember their names, which is a good idea because I couldn't say their names. But one time when I was in church, I noticed her staring me down because I turned around to look at something and I saw her staring me down. And basically, she was in church staring me down. And even before I started attending the church, I went to a jumble sale at the church and I told her that I was unemployed. And she said, oh, well, I can get you a job. I can find you a job. I have no idea the type of job that she had in mind, but I didn't take her up on it. I probably should have inquired as to what type of job she could get me, but she was like, well, I can give you a job. I don't know if she meant an unpaid job because there's plenty of unpaid jobs out there. And then I started going to the church. Because they had some play or something that the church advertised in some Christian magazine. But I think that Christian magazine is only online now because a lot of magazines no longer have paper copies. They're just online magazines now because that's the kind of world that we have evolved in. But one thing that was interesting is the people in the church behaved quite oddly to me, and so I didn't feel totally comfortable, even though I did serve tea and coffee for them. But one thing that happened was one Sunday morning, I went to the church, and honestly, I don't know what happened. I don't know if it happened in my home. I don't know when I ever didn't have my bag with me, didn't have my purse with me. So I'm not sure how it happened. I can't tell you. But in my bag, my wallet with all my cards had been strewn out in the bag. So it looked like someone had gone into my bag and gone into my wallet. And I was going through all these cards that were in my pocketbook, and the card that was missing was my military ID card. Someone had taken my military ID card out of my bag, out of my wallet. My military ID card was in my wallet, and the wallet was in the bag. This military ID card, as far as I knew, didn't mean anything to anybody. It just had sentimental value. And it was gone. It was gone. It had been taken out of my wallet. Someone had gone into my bag, pilfered through my belongings, and took that military ID card. So I don't know who took it, and I don't know why. I have a chain lock on my door where I live because I had to install a chain lock on my door because people were going into my flat when I was sleeping and doing things. And I'm not going to say what it is that they were doing because I'm not sure exactly what it was that they were doing, but I knew that they were up to no good. And the reason why is because I would sleep the entire night. So obviously they had drugged me, done something to make me sleep all night, because I never sleep the whole night because I have to get up to go to the bathroom. And when all this was going on, when I was being harassed out of my job at Foster Wheeler, there were a few instances when I wouldn't wake up and I would sleep the whole night. And because I have to get up and go to the bathroom, that means that something has happened. So I had a chain lock on my door. So I don't know who got into my bag and who went into my wallet. And I don't know when it happened. It happened sometime between maybe Saturday when I was at my volunteer job at a charity shop, and the following morning when I noticed that my wallet had been opened and all of my cards were outside of the wallet and my military ID card was missing. So somebody took my military ID card. I don't know why. I don't know why they took it. I think it was probably part of the stalking campaign that I was subjected to, but it did have a lot of pertinent information about me. For example, it had my social security number, it had my height, it had my blood type. So that military ID card did have a lot, contain information on me. So I don't know why my military ID card was taken. It was like the last thing I had of my life in the United States Air Force, and it had sentimental value to me, and it was taken. And I don't know why they took it. I don't know what purpose they took it, but somebody took it. So it could have been somebody where I volunteered at this charity shop. So I'm very suspicious of the behavior of the people at this charity shop. So it could have been them. It could have, because when I was in that charity shop, I would have to leave my bag unattended to actually go into the front because I worked the till in the front. So somebody at that charity shop could have gone into my bag and taken my military ID card. So why did they want my military ID card? What purpose did they want my military ID card for? And somebody at home, I mean, I had a chain lock on my door, but as I said in a previous video, locks only keep honest people honest. So there's a possibility somebody could have gone in to my flat when I was sleeping and taken my military ID card out of my wallet, because all of my cards were strewn in my bag, and the only card that was missing was the military ID card. It could have been somebody at the church that I was going to, the United Reformed Church that I was going to. So it obviously had been taken in a period of 24 hours when I don't know when it was taken, but it was also around the time that I was being gang stalked. And so I'd left Foster Wheeler, but even when I had left Foster Wheeler, the stalking didn't stop. And I think that because Foster Wheeler had become AMAC Foster Wheeler, so it still was part of the Foster Wheeler name. So the stalking didn't stop. So I don't know what happened. I don't know if Foster Wheeler had something to do with my military ID card being taken. I don't know if this charity shop, that I'm not going to say the charity shop's name, but it was a neurological charity, had something to do with it, the people in the charity shop. I don't know if somebody went into my flat and took it in the middle of the night when I was sleeping. And I don't know if somebody in this church, the United Reformed Church I was going to. But there was a period of 24 hours when somebody definitely went in and took my military ID card. I don't know why they took it. I know that that card had sentimental value to me, and that was the last thing I had relating to the United States Air Force. And now I don't have anything relating to the United States Air Force other than a couple of diplomas and a couple of orders, But other than that, there's nothing I have relating to the USAF anymore. And so I'm still upset about it because it had sentimental value. I don't know why they took it. And during this period of time, I actually had been writing letters to the FBI and telling the FBI what was going on, because obviously I am an American citizen, and American citizen being terrorized overseas. So you would think that FBI would have had an interest in what was going on, especially, I don't know if all these letters that I wrote to the FBI were forwarded to anybody else. The letters that I wrote were related to my personal experience of gang stalking and harassment. Now, if the FBI forwarded any of my letters to the SEC, or that's the Securities and Exchange, SEC, Securities and Exchange Commission, or any other federal agencies, I don't know. But the FBI certainly never wrote me any letters. They certainly never acknowledged any of the letters that I had sent them. And I never got my military ID card back. I would like to have it back. And if anybody's got my military ID card, I would like to have it back. So that concludes this video. I decided I'd talk about my military ID card being taken out of my bag. And I think it was part of the stalking and harassment that I was subjected to at Foster Wheeler and other places, such as the housing cooperative where I live. I mean, definitely, speaking of that, definitely the housing cooperative could have come into my apartment in the middle of the night and taken it, and they could have used it for their own nefarious purposes to, like, maybe find out some other information about me, such as my date of birth or my blood type or anything else. So that's another group of people that could have taken my military ID card. So we're saying that Foster Wheeler, they could have employed criminals to get it. This charity, it was a neurological charity, they could have taken it out of my bag. The people that work in there could have done it. This United Reformed Church that I was going to, people in that church could have gone through my bag. Who else? And where I live, housing cooperative, they could have taken my ID card. I don't know why they wanted it, but if anybody has my military ID card, I certainly would like to have it back because it had a lot of sentimental value to me, and it's the last thing that I have regarding my life in the United States Air Force. And I've got lots more things to talk about. I have to think about what I want to say. My sister says that I talk about everything, and that's true, I do, because I want my life to be a record. And maybe somebody working on a PhD or a sociologist, if they want to watch all my videos and see that my pathetic life, see that I'm see what being brought up by terrible parents, being in the military, being passed from pillar to post, and being in bad relationships, see how all that affects a person. If somebody else wants to write my story, well, good for them. You know, at least somebody's getting some benefit out of my very pathetic life. So thank you so much for watching my video. If you like my video, please like and subscribe. I will be making more videos. I have to think about what I want to say. And thank you for watching my video and taking an interest in my life, as pathetic as it may be.